Sanatanaaya Sukshmaya Sugunaya Sushantaya Sampurnaya Sushilaya Srinivasaya Te Namaha.
The 20th sloka is very closely connected to the previous sloka. So here, if you notice, even the beginning of the sloka is kind of identical. Even the words that is used, Swadpadaduli is what the first line starts. Here, Swadgopuragra, Swarga is also used. So it's kind of, the author leads us to the same mindset in the next sloka also.
Gopura Shikarani Nirikshamanaha. Seeing the peaks of your Gopuram, Swargapavarga Padavim Paramam Shrayantaha Martya Bhuvane Matimashrayante. Those who have earned the titles of Swarga and Apavarga, they want to return back to this loka, Martya Bhuvane, because their minds are so attracted. What is it attracted to? Tvad Gopurani, to your Gopura Shikaras. Sri Venkatachalapati, Tava Suprabhatam. O Sri Venkateshwara, the Lord of the Venkata Hills, let this be Suprabhatam to you. So in the previous sloka, it was about the Sharanagatas who were indifferent to Swarga and Apavarga. Here the people take all the efforts for Swarga and Apavarga. Even after gaining that and they are on their journey, after seeing the Gopuram, their mind is so attracted towards your Gopuram, O Bhagavan, that they want to come back here and offer their services to you.
Now the great people who have succeeded in getting the Swarga or the Moksha Padavis, what are they doing? They are now there. Now, it's not just about normal people. Even those who have done these yajnas, yagas, who attained the great Swarga Padavi or even the Moksha, now as they are just going, they happen to see this temple tower of Tirumala Tirupati. Or Ananda Vimanam, they are looking at this temple tower. And then what happens? They are filled with so much of bliss that they want to come back to earth. Even after earning that, they want to give up all that. They want to come back to earth and they want to start offering service to Bhagavan Srinivasa in Tirumala. So let this be an auspicious morning to you, and they want to sing the Suprabhatam to Bhagavan.
To get a feel of these slokas, we have to understand the mindset of devotees. What was going on in their mind? What is their perspective? How did they look at Bhagavan? How did they look at the words of the Alvars and the Acharyas? Once we get a feel of these, we can dwell on their anubhavas, on their experiences. So let me narrate a few incidents here for us to get the right perspective.
Kulasekara Alvar wants to be of service to Bhagavan Srinivasa. A very, very touching, moving poem this is. And then he thinks of how he can offer service to Bhagavan. So this Alvar is now thinking, what can I do? Okay, let me be a bird and offer service. But then he thinks, but the bird might fly off from this place to another. So I want to be in this place. Why can't I be a fish in the pond in Swami Pushkarini and then offer service to you? And then he says that the fish is born in the pond, it dies in the pond. How can I be of service if I'm just a fish? So then he thinks, okay, in that case, let me actually become a Shenbaga Malar. Let me be a flower so that it can go and adorn Bhagavan. I can be of some service to Bhagavan. And after that, the Alva thinks, but it will be very, very temporary, right? So if I'm a flower, then I'm going to fade off. I can't be of eternal service to Bhagavan. I want to always be doing service to Bhagavan. So what can I do? Then he says, in that case, why can't I become the tree which is giving the flower so that I can be of service to Bhagavan? And then he thinks, what if somebody uproots the tree because they want to build a bridge or something there? Then he says, in that case, what will not be uprooted? Maybe something which has thorns, a bush, that will not be uprooted. So I will even become a thorny bush in order to serve Bhagavan. But he thinks that there are going to be so many devotees who come to worship Bhagavan. So in that case, if they want to clear the path and they throw me away, what will I do, oh Bhagavan? Then he says, the best thing is I will become a rock. A rock is usually not thrown as easily as a tree or a flower. So let me become a rock. Then he thinks, what if that rock is taken in order to construct something else? I don't want to be a rock. Let me become this stream of water. But then how can I flow from top of Bhagavan? I don't want to. So when he thinks contemplating of so many things, then he decides that let me become the stepping stone in Tirumala. Padiyai kidandu un pavalavai kanbene. Let's just think of the intensity of devotion with which these great alvars were there, right? So Padiyai kidandu un pavalavai kanbene. Let me be a stepping stone and keep admiring your beautiful divine lips. That way, nobody is going to destroy this footstep. The dust of the devotees will also touch me, and I can eternally be of service to you, O Bhagavan. So that was the mindset of Alvar.
Even now, when we go to Tirumala, we can have a darshan of Kulashekara Padi. The Alvar himself is admiring Bhagavan by being the Padi in Tirumala.
So Alvar now thinks, okay, even if I become this Kulashekara Padi, what will happen? Maybe a rich person who is a devotee will come and they will want to make this step into a golden step and they'll cover me up. How will I see you, oh Bhagavan? Let me not even take this choice because it's very complicated. For Bhagavan, I want to be something and then serve you. The option is yours. So he gives it to Bhagavan to decide, but he wants to be something in Tirumala. So touching this is one very, very important real life incident that happens. We have to understand this to get to know the mindset of devotees so that we can appreciate their works. Because today in this world, we understand the corporate world, we understand what our people around us think, feel, and all. We never get an opportunity to look at things from the great alvars, the acharyas, the greatest devotees. What was their mindset? What will it be to look things from their perspective, right? So this is one incident to help us look into their perspective. Now, what happens is there was one acharya who was a disciple of Bhagavad Ramanuja. His name was Ananta Alvar. Just now we saw this Pasuram, right? Where Padiyai kidandu un pavalavai kanbene, Emberman Tirumala iledeno. Let me become something in Tirumala. That was the mindset of Alvar. Now, whatever is seen in Tirumala is considered as great devotees of Bhagavan by all these ardent devotees. So if they see a plant, they consider it as a devotee of Bhagavan. If they see a flower, it's considered as a devotee. So we've been seeing that from the start of our Suprabhatam experience. Now what happens is, this great Acharya, Ananta Alvar, is doing Kainkarya. He does Pushpa Kainkarya. He maintains a beautiful garden there from which the flowers are sourced and garlands are offered to Bhagavan. Even now in Tirumala, the Tomala Kainkarya, the floral Kainkarya is considered as paramount. So this Pushpa Kainkarya is done by Ananta Alvar. Even today, his generations, people who come in his lineage, follow that Kainkarya. So one day, after finishing his morning Kainkaryas, he carries his prasadam, curd rice. He climbs down all the way, to the bottom of the Tirumala hills. He comes to Tirupati along with his group of disciples. It is not as easy as what we see today. The Tirumala hills, only now we have some path. Otherwise, it is very difficult to climb up and down the hill. And we are speaking about Bhagavad Ramanuja's disciple, which is like 1,000 years back. So how would the mountain have been? We can visualize it, right? So they climb down with a lot of effort. And now they open the prasadam in order to eat. Only to see that the prasada has a lot of ants in it. Now the disciples are like, oh my God, what do we do? Okay, maybe we can just keep it in, sun for some time and then have the prasada. We don't have any other option because they have a lot of rules on what can be consumed by them also. Because they are doing Kainkarya to Bhagavan, they can't just go to, and of course, restaurants and all were unknown. but they can't go and eat anything anywhere. They had a lot of rules. But then Anantacharya said, what are you all talking about? How can we eat this prasada? And they said, why? It's just ants. Once the ants go, we can eat. Now Ananta Alvar reminds them of this Uneru Silvathu, and he says, Emberman Tirumalayil Edenum Avene, or Alvars and Acharyas wanted to be something in the Tirumala hills. What if these ants are the Nityasuris? What if these ants are the devotees? So let the sin of separating the devotees from Bhagavan not come to us. So what the Anantacharya does is, he carries the curd rice along with all the ants back to Tirumala. He climbs up again, leaves it there so that the ants can stay in Tirumala, and then he comes back. So that was the kind of devotion with which they identified to every single word that the Alvars and Acharyas mentioned. So they took it at face value. Today we are like, maybe they were devoted. That was not the case. When Acharya says that they can be in some form, they believe that every single thing they've said is true. That is the way they looked at it.
So this beautiful sloka says that because of the righteous deeds and a lot of efforts, people who gain the padavis, the titles of the Swarga and Apavarga, they are leaving. When they leave, because they are looking forward to it, even when they leave, they look at this temple Gopura. Having seen your Gopura, oh Bhagavan, they want to come back here and be of service to you in some way or the other. Tvadgopuragra shikharani nirikshamanaha Swargapavarga padavim paramam shrayantaha Martya manushya bhuvane matimashrayante Sri Venkatachalapate tava suprabhatam.
Kayena vacha manasendriyaiva buddhyatmana va prahude svabhavat karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami.